Get a dog, they said. It'll be great, they said. I think I put a video out about 12 months ago about the same subject. Am I an obsessive? I'm doing things every 12 months. Because it's that time of year, isn't it, when the world and his wife gets a dog. There's a spaniel over there. Can you hear it? And it's running about like an absolute lunatic. It's having the best life ever. But its owner's got a whistle. Have you ever seen how many people who whistle at the dogs? But not just whistle, a whistle that you buy. Does he think he is? Does he think he's on the telly? One man and his dog. Because the dog's, he's whistling away like a bugger. And his dog's not taking a blind bit of notice of him. Well, it's a spaniel. Spaniels don't take a blind bit of notice about anybody. They've got more energy than they should have, and they expend it by running around aimlessly and randomly, like completely. I can hear him whistling. I'm going to go and shove his whistle up his arse in a bit. Anyway, dogs. Let's talk about dogs. It's getting that time of year, isn't it? People are thinking about getting a dog. Okay, get a dog. But what you've got to do is think about a few little pointers before you get a dog. I had Molly, who is now over there, mooching about, at the vet's yesterday, and it cost me a lot of money, and I thought there was something wrong with her, and why never slept the night before, and I worried and worried and worried and worried like she was my child. It was awful, and I got her to the vet's, and actually it wasn't as bad as I thought. She's fine now, had a bit of treatment, but it cost me a lot of money. And have you ever noticed Molly is insured? I don't insure her because I think it's a rip-off, but my mother insists on insuring her every year because it's like her little contribution. My mother, when I got Molly, Molly's a rescue dog. I got her 6 years ago when she was 6. And my mother said, oh God, no, you've not got another dog, have you? And within a week, she's saying, oh, I don't know what we did without her. And Molly now and my mum are best mates. And whenever we go, she climbs on my mum's knee. And my mum laughs about it and says it's because she's got fat hips, been nice and soft and warm. And I said, well, I've got fat hips as well. But whenever we come here, she goes and sits on your fat hips. Anyway, so I had to the vets, and it cost a lot of money. And have you noticed that insurance, dog insurance or pet insurance or any insurance, they must do the research and they must find out that the average cost of veterinary bills is about the same or slightly higher than the excess that they charge. So you're never going to, unless it's really something drastic that's costing you thousands of pounds, you're never going to claim, are you? Because it's the excess. And if it's just a bit above the excess and you claim for it, then your insurance premiums will go up. And it's so basically, it's up to you. Get dog insurance, don't get dog insurance. But it is a rip-off. But you've got to think about a few things when you get a dog. Let's talk about this. Oh, right. When you get a dog, think about this. It's like a child. It's a sentient being. They feel pain, they feel joy, they feel sorrow, they feel guilt, they feel the love that you give them, or they feel the dislike. When you chastise them, just watch a dog when you chastise it. It will do anything. And remember that a dog, unlike a person, will love you unquestioningly. No matter how much a person beats a dog, that dog will still look for affirmation. That dog will still be there. If you beat a dog and then show it some affection, that dog will love you unquestioningly. And really, they deserve that love back. When you get a dog, just think about the life you're going to have to lead. Just think about the holidays. If you like going to Tenerife, or the States, or the moon, or wherever you like going, when you get a dog, think about that. Think about Well, what do I do with it? I can put it in kennels. I had a dog years ago called Norman, and I put him in kennels once, and he came back and he had kennel cough. I never put him in kennels again. We actually bought a caravan just so we could include Norman in our holidays. Then we got another dog called Sheba, so we had 2 dogs, and our whole life was around them. The way we went out, drinking, socialising, it was like having a kid. It involved them. Holidays involved them. Expenses, it was expensive. The food, you can't just give them cheap rubbish. It's costing you money. Inoculations, food, holidays. When you have children, you cannot have a dog and then have children and immediately transfer that affection 100% onto the child. The dog still needs to be included, and don't exclude the dog and then blame the dog when it reacts to the child or something like that. You've got to include them. They're still part of the family. Can you imagine how desperate they feel if you show them loads of love and affection, then you have a kid and then you transfer all that affection and you exclude them? I can't think of anything more heartbreaking than that for a dog or for anything. It's just... So you've got to think about all these things before you get a dog, or any pet for that matter. The expense, the time. If a dog isn't well, and if a dog has an accident, you can't just carry on. That has to be treated straight away like you would treat a child. A dog is in pain, it feels pain like anything else, and it's got to be treated. And if it costs you a lot of money, you've got to pay it. You've got to do it, and you've got to do it without any remorse, out of love, and then you will feel that absolute feeling of joy when they recover. Molly is now 12. She's getting old. We're both getting old. And you know, I spend a lot of my time worrying about what's life going to be like when she's gone. And I can't imagine it. And it hurts. And I really do not know how I am going to carry on once there's no Molly. And I know it's going to happen. And I'm kind of preparing myself for it. And then I think, I see, and some days she's a bit quieter than others. Today she's bouncing around and I look at her and I think, she's going to last for a while yet. But they do. Why don't dogs live as long as we do? It's not fair on us as much as the dog. So you've got to think about that. Think about holidays. Think about the expense. Think about when you go out. You can't just go out and leave a dog for hours. Think about work. People do get dogs and they go to work and they leave them at home, and that's fine if the dog's okay with it. But you've got to think about that. I was lucky in that when I got Molly, I had a job where I could take her. She's never been out of my sight really, and I've made a bit of a rod for my own back really, because she cannot stand to be out of my sight. If she can't see me, she frets. She follows me about. I stand up, she stands up. I go to the kitchen, she follows me. I go upstairs, she follows me upstairs. She's just there. But I don't mind it because I love her. So that's absolutely fine and dandy. But think about it. But if you thought long and hard about it, and you're prepared to build a life around it, you're prepared, your holidays, your life, the expense, getting up and walking it, and no matter what the weather's like, because they've got to go out even though it's absolutely pouring down. You've got to get them in a coat and get them out, because they've got to go out and have exercise and have wheeze and poos, and you've got to take them out. But if you've thought about that and you're prepared to sacrifice so much, the rewards are like a millionfold. There is nothing on earth like the love and affection that a dog can give you. So think about it. Think long and hard about it, and then when you've thought long and hard about it and thought about all the pitfalls and all the responsibility, and you've thought long and hard, and you're thinking, oh, is it the right thing to do? It is very probably the right thing to do, because for all the pitfalls, it's like anything in life, all the hardships, all the pitfalls, all the expense, that makes the rewards even greater. So when you've thought long and hard about it, and you've thought, I'm not just doing this to something for my kid to have on Christmas morning, this is something my kid is going to have for 10, 12, 14, 16 years. When you've thought about that and thought about the commitment, get one. But get a rescue. Don't go out and buy one from a breeder. Breeders, no matter how well intentioned, are doing it for the money. And I don't think you should create life for money. There are lots of dogs out there, and they may look a little bit ragtag, but they're the same kind of creature inside. It doesn't matter what they look like. You might want something that's nice and fluffy and round and cuddly and looks good while you're walking it. But I've had rough old mongrels, and they're the most affectionate, beautiful, kind, loving creatures you could ever have. And it gives you excuses and reasons to get out and get exercise and get in the countryside and do things that you would never have thought of doing before. Get a dog. She's barking at squirrels now. She's running after a German Shepherd. She'll get her head bitten off one of these days. Mind you, it's ignoring her. Soon be Christmas. It's only 4 weeks off now. We're going to carry on. It's a beautiful, beautiful, the sun's out. We're just going to walk forever today. So think about it. Get a dog, they said. It'll be great, they said. And it is. See you on the flip. Peace and love.